Today, Greg and I are going to show you how to play a set of Napoleonic Wargaming rules from Perry Miniatures that are free.
Whoa, did you say free, Dave?
I did indeed. After Christmas, we'll be reviewing Valour and Fortitude on our channel, offering our subjective opinions about what we like and what we find lacking in this game.
Dave, I don't think we'll be spoiling much by telling people that we like it. We really like it. And in this video, Dave and I are going to teach you how to play a sample turn. Let's begin by talking about how armies are organized in Valour and Fortitude. A group of bases forms a battalion, and that is the standard tactical unit in the game. Battalions are then grouped into brigades. A brigade could have 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 battalions, depending on the scenario. And that might include cavalry regiments and artillery batteries.
Your army will include several formations. My Austrians, in a small game like this, will be 5 brigade-sized formations.
The French in this scenario also have 5 brigades, but they are a little bit smaller here. In this game, the number of figures or bases in your battalions doesn't really matter. Figures are not removed as casualties. The Perrys like to play this game in 28mm scale. We would typically play in 15mm scale, but honestly, you can play the game with whatever miniatures that you have available.
Okay, Greg, let's start this turn. I have here a copy of the rules. These are 6 pages, and they're available free on perryminiatures.com. We'll post a direct link in our description below. You can get a more premium-looking version of the game rules from Wargames Illustrated magazine, but that's the one you'll have to pay for.
You are also going to need a deck of standard poker playing cards that you are going to deal out at the beginning of each turn in order to generate fate or random events. And that's how each turn begins. A player gets to draw 1 random fate card and add it to their hand. These cards are special abilities or bonuses that you can play during the game. Each army has a unique table of options that you can reference. Your card deck should be sorted ahead of time to include 1 king, 1 queen, 1 jack, and so on. Each card has a different ability associated with it.
It's a nice way to add some randomness and some flavor into your game, and later we'll be talking about how to use these fate cards in the game.
Yes, but for now, why don't we get started with my half of the turn, Dave? And this is an I go, you go game where you alternate each side doing all of their activations. So on my half of the turn, after I draw my fate card, it's time for firing. Shooting comes first in the turn. Any unit within range of musketry, rifles, or cannons rolls to make their attack. A standard infantry battalion typically would roll 3 dice for fire, and there are just a few possible modifiers. Note, these modifiers add dice to your attack pool, so a +1 would allow me to roll 4 dice instead of 3. Every roll of 4 or better is a hit. Okay, Dave, it looks like I got 2 hits on that die roll.
And there are no saves in this game. A hit is a hit, so you're going to have to find some way to record these using markers or chits. Note here, my Austrian line infantry have a tenacity of 5. That's how many hits they can take before bad things happen.
Ooh, I love when bad things happen to the Austrians. What are some of the bad things here, Dave?
Well, whenever one of my units suffers more than 5 hits, it will become shaken, and it will suffer a setback. You mark it by putting a chit next to the command stand. You also add setbacks anytime a unit is routed from the field. If your brigade has more than 3 setbacks, you have to take a morale test, which they call fortitude tests. This is a simple die roll. You roll, and on a 4+, your brigade is fine. On a 1, 2, or 3, it routs and is removed from the game.
That would be bad for you, Dave. And that's a 3. And morale in this game, it is a really big deal. A big part of trying to win this game is managing your setbacks and your morale well.
Let's talk about how to do that. You'll want to clear off these setback markers from your brigades as quickly as you can. And you can clear 1 marker per brigade by attempting to rally a shaken battalion in the brigade.
Very good. Let's talk about rallies, because after firing is complete, I am able to attempt activating my brigades and giving them orders. Activation is pretty simple. You roll 1d6 for each brigade, and as long as you don't roll a 1, you can act normally.
What if I do roll a 1, Greg?
Well, that will happen from time to time. about 17% of the time to be exact, and if you do roll a 1, your brigade receives no orders and it cannot move or act at all.
You missed one key detail, Greg. The first brigade you choose to activate automatically passes its die roll if it's within command distance of the Army General. So you're virtually guaranteed to move something. But any brigade after that must roll. When Greg activates a brigade, he can take actions with all of the battalions in the brigade. There are 3 different types of actions he can take. You can assault. Assaults come first, and this allows you to take 1 charge move towards the enemy. Infantry typically move 9 or 12 inches. You can maneuver. This allows the battalion to make 2 moves, as long as you don't come within 3 inches of an enemy. Or you could take 1 move and do a formation change. Finally, you can attempt a rally. Your battalion is allowed 1 move and 1 rally roll attempt.
Rallying is very critical for the game, so don't forget to do it. It's very simple. You're going to roll 1d6 on a result of 4 or better. If you pass, you could remove 1 hit from that battalion. And remember, if they were shaken and you remove a hit, that actually gets to also remove a setback from the entire brigade.
The end of Greg's turn concludes with any melee resolution. In our example here, Greg conducted 1 assault move with a battalion. Units can only match up 1 against 1, with nearby battalions offering support.
In combat, both the attacker and the defender will roll to hit each other, and typically for infantry, your melee value will be a 4.
The Austrians, or a 5.
Yeah, good luck convincing any French player that makes sense.
Bullshit!
Dave and I each roll our dice. Like shooting, you could have some modifiers that give you bonus dice. Having a supporting unit, for example, would give Dave 2 more dice.
Greg is in an attack column formation here, so he gets a bonus dice for that.
Then Dave and I are going to apply hits. Remember, as usual, a 4 or better is a success.
Whichever side rolls more hits is the winner, but both sides have to check and see if their troops are shaken.
Yes, now remember, you will go shaken if you exceed your tenacity rating.
And that's it, guys. We've walked through Greg's half of the turn, and now the initiative would flip to me for the Austrians to draw a fate card, conduct firing, and roll to activate brigades.
We'd continue to go back and forth until one side has either achieved its scenario objective or time runs out.
There are, of course, details that we haven't covered in this overview. Terrain slows you down. There are rules for garrisoning towns. Units have unique trait abilities, and of course, there's the fate cards.
Oh yeah, we promised to tell people more about those.
Every turn, you get to draw a card, and there is no hand limit. You want to pay special attention to these cards. For the Austrians, this 4 card is a delay. I could play this to interrupt Greg and have his movement speed for the brigade. Or I could play my ace during my own half of the turn to re-roll 1 failed activation attempt.
The French cards have some similar bonuses, but the effects are different. Each army has its own fate table, and you'll find those tables on the Perry Miniatures website with the army lists. This was written by the Perrys and Jervis Johnson, so you're going to get some strong black powder vibes here, and that means buckets of dice rolling and points values for all the units.
Except, unlike black powder, this is free. There are a few generic scenarios on the website, but as you know, here on Little Wars TV, we prefer historical battles. This is a setup for the Battle of Montebello from Napoleon's Marengo campaign in June of 1800.
It's a nice sized battle for Valour and Fortitude. There's about 24 units per side, plenty of room for maneuver, and we're going to give you the Montebello scenario for free. Just go to littlewarstv.com to the free stuff section and you can grab the PDF. While you're there, you can also grab a free copy of our revised quick reference sheet. Okay, this is a mild spoiler from the upcoming rule review, but I was not overly impressed with the QRS that came with the rules. So, our club has our own version of that QRS, 1 page, that you can also download for free. You can check that out at littlewarstv.com.
You know, Greg, it would be a shame to set this table up and not play a game on it.
Now I know know how he got the Count. Count of Montebello.
Aaron from Project Wargaming dropped by last month as a special guest, and we had a chance to catch up with him, roll some dice, and play a Battle of Montebello. The Perry brothers and Jervis Johnson have done the community a great service by giving us these rules.
Yeah, it was really cool of them to offer this up for free. They also did our club a great service this summer.
We thought we'd drop by Nottingham for a little visit and had a fabulous afternoon with Alan and Michael. Coming up after the new year, you can join us inside Alan's game room and sit down for a chat with two legends of the hobby, all right here on YouTube.
Until then, from all the guys here at Little Wars TV, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.